Hello, welcome to the live stream. I was really racing down the seconds of prep here because I had a kitten who didn't want me to leave because I was her nap area. And so, anyway, so everything's kind of a mess, and we barely made it here in time, but we're here. I am prepping I'm filling in our brand new donut journal, which incidentally, we went through a half-year donut journal in half a year, the 33 donuts. It takes us apparently from July 23rd, 2024. And then we do have this last back page open in our donut log. But since it's on the cardstock, I think we're going to skip it and move over into a fresh new donut log. So, hello, welcome to the live stream. Today we are going to be talking about the Walmart Birkin, and given my audience, I have a suspicion quite a few of you do not know what the Birkin is, which I promise it's a compliment to say that. So we're going to describe the Birkin and what the Hermes Birkin is and really how the whole Hermes game works, and we're gonna dig into things. Then we are going to come back and talk about the Walmart Birkin. I am very sad I don't have a camera on the cat that is immediately behind my camera because she has just had her food and is now going crazy. So, hello, welcome. There's so many people here. Fuzzbubble says, after 3 canceled trains, I made it back to Virginia. Oh my gosh. I knew things were bad out there. It's kind of lovely, clear weather here. I really shouldn't, I should knock on wood because a year ago this week, I was sleeping at my office because of a snow ice storm. And that was the only way I could be on air was to I spent a total of 4 nights living at the office. Could you guys hear that? Could you hear that? That was a cat just racing past me. The other cat is just loafing. And I think we're about to get a pizza delivery any second. I hear the pizza toy being batted around. Who is Jane Birkin? I mean, we can include the origin story of Jane Birkin if you want, but it's incredibly irrelevant to the actual Birkin bag. David says, got here at 1:45 last night and went to work at 8 a.m. Thank you, JetBlue, for the delay. Oof. Oof. Oh, David, the package has finally come. I actually completely forgot about you mentioning that quite a long time ago. So it's like a whole new surprise for me. I had a package delivery today, which I'm very excited about. If I would have known it was coming today, we might not be talking about the Walmart Birkin at all. We're really talking about the Walmart Birkin because I was going to pitch it as a freelance story, and then I saw someone had already covered it to the outlet I was going to pitch it at. So I was like, fine, we'll talk about it on the live stream. So this is the package that I had come today, and it was kind of funny because, a little funny, I guess, we have a regular sized, old school mailbox right now, so it doesn't fit a lot of packages in it, and this, which I'm gonna show you, came in, a pretty chunky box, too big to put in the mailbox, and we haven't been having a lot of package thefts here, but they were happening a ton in 2020, 2021. And I just had an Amazon package that was not being delivered by courier, but it was from a third-party business that then got shipped via United States Postal Service, so delivered to the regular mailbox. And they don't take a picture like they do with the Amazon packages, which is I think, maybe a better employee policy. But I will say that if the employees are going to get, in trouble for packages not showing up when people lie, I guess I would rather they have the photo evidence that they delivered it. Anyway, they said it was delivered back in December. They said this package was delivered. I waited it out because sometimes things will report as being delivered in USPS, but then they won't. But then they'll show up a day or two later because the drivers are stressed about making their numbers. So they'll like mark things as delivered, and they'll show up a day or two later. Like sometimes it just comes down to like the system. But it had been more than 2 weeks, and so I had to report to Amazon, hey, this did not show up. And we have gotten so much stuff from Amazon over the past couple weeks. I know that I should break our Amazon habit, but I feel like it wouldn't be worth it for one person in the household to break an Amazon habit if the other has a very heavy habit. So anyway, I would like to stop supporting Amazon, but I don't think this is going to be possible. So this is the cat is currently attacking the label on the end of a tea bag. There's no tea bag attached to it anymore. It's just like the little label fell off, I guess, on the way to recycling. And now she's decided it's her favorite toy. She's fully bananas. Do you want me to turn on the laser pointer, kitten? I'm never going to get to this story about this journal or the wirkin. Hold on. Okay, I turned on the laser pointer over here, but I think she's too distracted. Maybe we need to get it slightly off. We'll monitor. She'll find it again eventually. All this to say, I ended up having to get a refund, and I felt really bad because it was one of the things that I had gotten shipped from like a small business. It was like a bike bag or something like that. And so I know it's going to be a problem for them with Amazon, so I'd kind of put off reporting it, hoping it would just turn up. It didn't turn up, and Amazon was like fine and gave me the refund, but I know it sucks for the third-party sellers, and I'm pretty sure the third-party seller was just some really small bike shop that had this bag. So I was bummed about that. I also wanted the bag that was going to arrive, but it wasn't like a must-have. It was a donut bag for one of my bikes. So today, I was really looking forward to the thing that I got, which is a new notebook. And I got the notification that it was delivered at like 10:52 a.m. And I was out at the rink, but I came back around like 1, and so I was like, okay, I went out straight to the mailbox, not in there. And something that I knew had been delivered via FedEx, but they had put it in the USPS box, which they're not supposed to do, last night was in there. And so, but there was nothing else. So I was like, oh no. I went back and watched the full security footage. We have so many cameras because we're an active construction site. And I was like worried that USPS had, I kind of just assumed that they had marked it as delivered, but like it was going to show up tomorrow. But since I'd already been burnt by that other bag like a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh no. But I did verify the mailbox is still accessible because we've been having so much, because we're an active construction site. Sometimes like the sidewalk will get blocked off because, I mean, we just poured a new sidewalk not that long ago. And sometimes they'll block it off for like drying, whatever. And so I was like, oh, maybe they can't get to it. But the USPS box was never blocked off. Went back and watched the security footage, and I saw the postal worker, like, look at the box, be like, oh, this is too big for the mailbox, and put it right behind the mailbox. I went back out there, like, 3 times and, like, searched all around it, and I was like, ugh. So then I watched through the cameras until I saw someone in like holding the box. And originally I thought it was like an Amazon delivery driver, but they don't come to the front. They usually come to the back, which avoids this whole confusion about the street being blocked off and everything, because the back does not have that problem. And that's what we have in our delivery instructions. I'm starting to regret even telling this story because it's taking so long. I ended up having to do detective work. I ended up figuring out our general contractor had come, seen that the box was out there, and then put the box in one of the other units in order to keep it safe, but like not communicated to us at all. And so I had to watch through the whole thing. And the good news is it was delivered. Minnie says, I was going to go live on my channel, but I see you were live, so I will wait till you finish. I like our weekly lives. I love having you here, too. By the way, I think you had already left on the end of my very long Christmas live stream. But my mom, when she reappeared, was like, oh, is Minnie still here? So anyway, my mom likes you. I don't know if my mom is going to be here today, but she was looking forward to you. But by then, the stream quality was getting kind of bad. And also, we'd been streaming for like 9 hours at that point. Am I, wait, is it the weird flex for a personal finance channel? Ooh, interesting. I don't have any admins on, so if this happens again, I want to note that for someone to come in here and to do this, they had to be subscribed for like quite a long time. So we haven't gotten any drive-by. We don't usually get the drive-by when I talk about figure skating because I get Russian bots. Hasn't happened since the heydays. Okay, I was trying to figure out what the weird flex was for the personal finance channel. And originally I thought you were trying to say my weird flex is that I can't quit Amazon, which I agree. It is a weird flex for a personal finance channel. Okay, David, I need to know on your your Fort Lauderdale, Florida to New York flight, what was the ratio of MAGA hats to N95s? I feel like this is a very important graph and you should be graphing it. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. I had not been looking at the chat because I was busy describing the very complicated package. I haven't even showed you the notebook yet, and the notebook is so exciting. Okay. We have to be done by 5:45 because I have my meeting after this. We have 2 donuts. We have to talk about the Walmart Birkin, but then I have a very beautiful notebook. So I need you all to decide. Donuts, should we do 1 donut, then Walmart Birkin, then another donut, then the notebook? Should we start with dessert first, dessert being the notebook, and then get into the Walmart Birkin? It's such a fluffy topic, but it is economics topic, and I think it's pretty interesting. Look, I went and looked up what a Birkin bag is just for this stream. Get to it. See, you always are here to keep us on topic. You're always here to keep us on topic, Ablejack. 4 Trump-attired people, 3 masks, 1 in case the other 2 fall off. No donuts, no book. I need to make this an actual poll. You all are very chaotic and extremely predictable for your usual, your usual demeanors. Okay. We'll talk about the Birkin bag first. So, yes, Minnie, you are absolutely correct. You do remember Birkin bags from Sex and the City. That was late in their like arc of famousness. What is a Birkin bag? So a Birkin bag is an exclusive luxury handbag put out by Hermes. But what is particularly notable about the Birkin bag is that they have mastered the luxury supply and demand and false scarcity sort of narrative. So originally, Jane Birkin, the actress, used to carry everything in a wicker basket for some reason, like including on a flight, which I find interesting. And all of her stuff fell out as she tried to shove it in the overhead compartment on in a wicker basket, because a wicker basket is a very ineffective travel bag. But then she complained that she couldn't find a weekend handbag that worked for her to her seatmate, who happened to be one of the main designers for Marks & Spencer, something like that, maybe Hermes. I think it was Marks & Spencer back then. And they spent the entire flight designing a handbag that would be practical and rugged for everyday use, and all of your stuff wouldn't fall out the way it does when you put all of your stuff in a wicker basket to carry around. That bag is the Birkin bag. It's It's a very pretty handbag, I would say. I'm not a handbag connoisseur. I had 1 month in 2024 where I thought I was going to become a handbag person. And I've learned that I don't live the kind of lifestyle where I am the handbag person. I do own a lot of bags. You can kind of see the beginning of my bags. They're all stored up there. They're not handbags. They're almost all bike panniers. And that is because I bike everywhere. And I need a lot of different bike bags. If you don't have a car and a trunk and you live in a place where it rains 9 months a year, your bags matter to you. So it turns out I'm not a handbag person. That being said, I think I can recognize something cute even if it isn't my thing. I don't particularly also want a bag that I have to baby. Like I like my stuff to be very functional, but also I don't want to like have to take care of it. I will show you what a Birkin looks like just so that we all are like kind of on board with it before I describe the faux scarcity kind of situation. So they come in their leather handbag. They come in a couple different sizes, and they also come in lots of different materials. For a long time, they claimed that their very high price tag, we're going to get to the price tag in a second, their very high price tag was due to their made by one individual artisan on a single bench in Italy. That isn't true. They use a supply chain just like any other service, like any other company. These are hand stitched, so to speak, but the only hand stitching that they actually do is that the very top edge is hand stitched. So like this little bit right there is hand stitched. It's a fine looking bag. I feel like this brown one is not the best example. Now, if you're not a handbag person, this is going to be how you shock yourself. This is a second-hand Birkin, and it is 23,000 pounds. So the equivalent of, I think, about 30,000, 32,000 US right now. I'm not totally up to date with the current exchange rate, but somewhere around that. This is not a cheap bag. The quality might be high. They are genuine leather handbags. They are prepared with some level of attention to detail. There is some hand stitching that goes into it, but are they worth the price that they sell them for? Look, you can get a genuine leather handbag that looks an awful lot like a Birkin on Amazon.com, and it is $176. The actual materials that they put into it are the best estimates depending on the size, unless we're talking about some of them are very, very rare things like like actual crocodile. The most expensive one in the world, of which there are only 2 copies, is a albino crocodile skin. And that one has sold for $2 million. One of the 2 has sold for $2 million. But generally, if they're just regular, nice leather, the actual materials that go into making these bags is not that. I think I've seen estimates around $200, $250 worth of leather. And then even if we account for labor, it does not equal the price tag. But what is particularly bananas about the Birkin is that it is very much a status symbol. So in one of the big ways in which they have made it a appealing luxury status symbol is that you can't even just go buy it. So something you'll notice as I just searched for Birkin look at all of the for sale ones. None of these are for sale. Well, some of them aren't even Birkins, but none of these are the actual Birkins are for sale at Hermes.com. Hermes.com does exist. You can buy things there, but you can't buy a Birkin bag. And the reason you can't buy a Birkin bag is that their entire strategy is that they made these extremely desirable because rich people don't have enough adversity in their life, so they have to invent something, and it's called the Hermes game. The cat is full speed running around right now. Oh, she's done now. She's fine. Everything's fine. Um, okay. Cat's done. Will come back to me for a little bit. Okay. So is that better? Maybe that's better. If I do this, there we go. So these Birkins are mostly on the secondhand market. So what they do with a Birkin is they make you play the Hermes game. And the Hermes game, which is now the subject of a class action lawsuit in California, is that you have to earn your way to get a bag. You can't just walk into an Hermes store. Well, one, it's hard enough to just walk into an Hermes store. You usually have to set an appointment. If you've ever been in one of those stores where you're like, oh crap, I'm not supposed to be here. I thought this was like a regular clothing store. And then you realize that like you are too poor to be just physically in the store. That's what the Hermes store vibe is. And you meet with sales associates and you get assigned a sales associate, and the sales associate will tell you what they have to offer you to buy. And to be offered a Birkin, you have to work your way up with a purchase history, which is what the subject of the class action lawsuit is. So you have to buy enough other things for them to offer you an expensive bag to buy. And then what's even wilder about the Birkin is that, and this is true generally, the other Hermes bag that people really desire is called the Kelly. It's not quite as like fetched as high of a price, but they both do fetch very high prices. And you won't get a choice in what color or size is offered to you. And some people wait years of buying overpriced other goods and other handbags and things they don't even want from Hermes in order to get offered the Birkin that they really want. It is literally like, I guess when you're rich, you don't have enough reasons to you don't have enough hardship in your life, so you have to invent the Hermes game. So, this bag, it's cute. It's cute. I'm not going to say it's not cute. But it also has like several drawbacks as a bag. And for one, it doesn't have a crossbody strap, so you like have to carry it on your arm. And then two, it's got this like complicated locking situation. And so it's hard to access your stuff when it's in the bag, which is like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of money to spend on a handbag that like doesn't have a water bottle pocket, in my opinion. Hermes game sounds a lot like the old De Beers Monopoly on Diamonds. I think you would consider it somewhat similar. I think the really interesting thing about it is that there's a couple different factors in here. One, at one point, Hermes did have a patent on the shape of this bag. However, design patents and intellectual property are actually fairly hard to enforce and fairly hard to get. Birkin, the design of the Birkin has not been protected by patent for a very long time, because usually those only last a year. So there's kind of two things, and one of the things that has popped up is what you were talking about on Sex and the City, which is that the counterfeit market and the fakes market for Hermes bags are like very, very profitable, because you even had people that were building Hermes bags that were then opening up the same factories and the same production lines after hours to produce fakes. Can you really call it a counterfeit bag if it's produced by the same artisans in the same factories? And obviously, this is one of the things that we constantly talk about when we talk about with trade with China, is that American politicians will harp on the idea that we really need to make sure like that China needs to respect the fact that, we have proper intellectual property protection out of China. And we've seen this with a lot of the like fakes that you can get. I mean, this is a thing that's a problem if you shop even on like Amazon or eBay or any of these things where you think you're buying brand name electronics or brand name bags, but actually or skincare is a really big one, but they turn out to be fakes. Perfume, any of these things. It used to be that you had to go down to Canal Street and you had to be shopping for fakes. And now they are very heavily integrated and it can be very difficult to authenticate these. So the whole authentication process is also through the roof when it comes to these. There's a whole secondary market, and in many ways the secondary market, because of the fake scarcity and the whole game in the beginning of the process with Hermes, the secondary market is even higher. So what ends up happening is that people that are playing this Hermes game that maybe get offered a bag they don't like the color of or whatever, they may immediately turn around and sell it like the next day, because often they can make more money reselling it and hitting their quote unquote purchase history number. A lot of people call them quota bags, meaning like they're buying other bags from Hermes, reselling them. But obviously Birkins fetch one of the higher values. This is generally considered the most expensive handbag in the world. There's obviously exceptions within all of these. And the thing is, the other reason the secondhand market does so well for these is because of their fake scarcity thing when it comes to the Birkin. By the way, sure, maybe they don't produce enough of these, but they could produce enough. The market value for these is so high because of the status that they foist upon you that they absolutely could pay people and produce more of these bags. There's not a limited amount of leather. As you can see, they have lots of different types of Hermes leathers that they use in these bags. And so it's not like it's a supply or even a labor thing. They can just pay people to make more bags. It's not that hard to stitch bags, which is one of the reasons that they are easily counterfeited. This is not a particularly defensible patent, especially decades on from the original bag. Am I closer than usual? Someone said I'm closer than usual. I might be. Oh, now I'm closer than usual. I didn't know that, never knew the show, but would watch the premise of that. Okay, so the Birkin bag has been around for since the 70s. We mentioned the Sex and the City mention of it, but it's actually been mentioned in tons and tons of shows about rich people, which is a lot of shows in the 90s. In Gilmore Girls, which is about two waspy, ladies from, three waspy ladies from Connecticut. Rory is dating a billionaire's son, and she gets gifted a Birkin from him. And her grandma, who is old school wasp, was then immediately upset that her granddaughter had been given a Birkin and she's never gotten a Birkin. And one of the things that was said is she was so afraid to take it out because it was such a pretty handbag that but her grandmother one of her rich friends was like, no. You have to take the Birkin out. It's meant to be seen. And this really indicates what a level of status symbol it was. For a long time, one of the easiest in quotes here, but one of the easiest ways to get a Birkin was to have a man go in and try to get a Birkin. And this was actually one of the plot points, I believe, in Sex and the City. I hope I'm not conflating this. But this has been, verified by lots of other people where people would be like, how do I avoid having to buy all these bags and build up a relationship with a sales associate to get offered to buy this bag, which is still bananas to me. If you're rich, it's not about the money. It's about being able to quote unquote earn the bag. And Samantha in Sex and the City was like, I want to buy that bag. And they were like, you can't buy that bag. And one of the ways for a long time was to look like you didn't want the bag, because if you desperately want the bag, they're not going to offer the bag to you. And one of the best ways would be to say go in some other city's Hermes store, like in let's say, Paris when you live in New York, and have your rich boyfriend, daddy, whatever, fly there, make an appointment and say, "Oh, I really need to make it up to my girlfriend. I really need to make it up to my wife, blah, 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 blah. There's this bag that she wants," and play dumb and show them a picture of the bag. And then that's the best way to get a Birkin. There was a waiting list for a long time, and now there's no waiting list. They just do this whole like quota history thing. So this is pretty much, yes, Gilmore Girls' mom is rich. David says, I never watched Sex in the City. I thought the premise was shallow, materialistic women who brunch. Did I get it wrong? You are mostly correct. I wouldn't describe them as shallow. I think shallow is a way to describe women who care about things that men don't care about derogatorily. I think they have very complex thoughts and emotions and are very smart and high achieving in their professions. And I wouldn't say that they're necessarily shallow. I would just say that they don't represent they don't represent traditional values. That's for sure. And I do think most of them I would describe as materialistic. I mean, they're rich women in New York in the 90s. Except one of them's not rich, but she likes to live like she's rich. Why? I know plenty of shallow men too. I guess maybe to me it feels like a gendered term, but I guess men can be shallow. I don't know. I don't like shallow because it feels like a value judgment. I feel like materialistic, you can view it negatively, but materialistic is more, it describes what someone values, right? And I feel like shallow, it seems judgmental. It seems like a judgmental term. And I think it's an easy way to dismiss someone. And often it'll just be like, yes, they like to talk about clothes. They like to talk about makeup. They like to talk about their relationships with men. That doesn't necessarily make them shallow. I think that sometimes saying that someone's shallow can be a shorthand way of saying they're into things that you're not interested in. But I could also see describing like men who only like sports and looking at women with big boobs as being shallow. I mean, so yes. I never watched the show, I'm admitting. Yeah, I don't know. This is me kind of breaking down if shallow is what it means. All right. Do we all feel like we understand the Birkin? Is there any questions that we have before we get into the Walmart Birkin? Because I think this is a very interesting cultural phenomenon because nothing about it is unique except where you can buy the dupe bag. We should also describe the difference between a dupe and a fake, which are two different things. Eric is bringing it back to the true theme of this show. To win over my wife's cat when I moved into her house was to ignore the cat like it was a Birkin bag. Then the cat desperately wanted my attention. I love that. David says, don't forget the market for knockoff keycap clones. David, we have to do this live stream about keycaps because I started trying to research and put together a keyboard and I got completely overwhelmed again. But I feel like what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a bunch of options to you and then you're going to help me figure out how to combine them. Because as far as I understand, I can't just buy the cute keyboard. I have to buy all the components separately. ADHD Queen says, if I were to get a leather bag, I'd get the round one from Portland Leather Company. Yeah, also because you're in Portland, they have I will say they aggressively market. Like you go on their website once and then they stalk you everywhere. Also, they constantly have sales. But there's an outlet in Southeast Portland. So you can get some very good deals and also some and they're very good deals. I think their list price is like $120 to that bag, which is still expensive for a handbag, but it's not like the prices that we're talking about. And they're always on sale for like 80, but you can get them for even less at the outlet store. AS says, that's how much I paid for my car. That's more than my truck cost. Yes, it's really, really wild. Okay, Eric, I really want to know how you know that the top is as big as a trash can. Nobody likes how I'm pronouncing Hermes. I'm doing a fine job. We're moving on. I don't owe them any... I don't owe them any respect. I don't care. Interesting. Every time I fly in and out of PDX, I have coworkers that give me a list to buy at Portland Leather. I find that really interesting. I love how they've like completely created this like cult brand in a couple years. Like they haven't been around that long. Okay. Seinfeld for me had more shallow and insecure people. Sex in the City was more entertaining for me than Seinfeld, and I liked Seinfeld. I think I agree with that assessment. I think Seinfeld didn't try to create complex characters. And I do feel like Darren Star, for all of my criticisms of Darren Star shows, because I have a lot of them, he writes complex female characters. And just generally complex characters. Seinfeld was a vehicle for one-liners and comedy, and I think it was a funny show of its time. But Sex and the City and other Darren Star shows, they were all trying to get at some like deeper level phenomena that wasn't just meant for a laugh line. It's just that, I mean, that was like the premise of every episode of Sex and the City, was that she was trying to get some big idea for her newspaper column out of every episode. It just was, the build I felt like was slower. What I liked watching Sex and the City for was just criticizing Carrie's absolutely abysmal financial decisions in that show. No. Have you seen the Josh Johnson clip mispronouncing Hermes? It's brilliant. I don't think you're supposed to say the Hermes. Hermes. No, I don't. I think it's Hermes. Okay, now I don't know. Now you guys are getting me very confused. Am I saying it wrong? Have I said it multiple different ways? That's also possible. Okay. Now, we're going to dig into the Walmart Birkin, because we still have 2 donuts and a notebook, y'all. Okay. The Walmart Birkin. So Walmart is essentially Amazon now. Walmart.com is essentially Amazon now. I think everybody knows that. But Walmart has this reputation as being kind of very down market. It's also like, there was for a long time, like, you're a Walmart or you're a Target kind of person. And Target was like more aspirationally like upper middle class, whereas Walmart is very much seen as lower class. And that's like both the way that they marketed themselves, where they put their stores, but also the that's just the societal like relationship American society has built up over the past like 20 years around Walmart and Target. And also like Walmart being based in the South and Target being based in Minneapolis, I think there's been a little bit of the broadening rifts in American society and political society really are kind of highlighted in the Walmart versus Target discourse. So, and I mean, I do feel like it's relevant here. I don't have a through line for this, but at one point, Oprah, when Target was really starting to pop off in the early 2000s, Oprah was calling it Target. And it's because this American thing where you pronounce something fancy in French, and then everybody thinks it's fancier if you pronounce it French. And is that not relevant when we're talking about Hermès? I love that. I'm just going to say it a new way every time. Just to annoy everybody. Okay, so the Walmart.com, like Amazon, has a lot of sellers that are third-party sellers that are selling directly from China, maybe shipped from China or held at Walmart warehouses. Walmart, especially in 2020, started to really like aggressively compete with Amazon with their 1-day and 2-day delivery with their like Walmart shopper program, where they were really like focusing on becoming a marketplace, much the same way that Amazon is becoming a marketplace. So that means that there is a lot of products that are not produced by Walmart's in-house labels, that are not one of like a main American made brand, similar to Amazon now, where like every time you look up something on Amazon and you look up the companies, they're all just like strings of letters. And that is because they are randomly generated letters that no one else has, that third-party sellers use on Amazon.com. So there is a very big market for dupes, and dupes are different than fakes. A fake is trying to look and will often be stamped with the name and meant to look like you actually bought an Hermes. And that is meant to like, it'll have the Hermes name on it. It'll have like, you know, down to the little details of the little zipper pulls will have the logo in it and stuff like that. A dupe is when you take the shape of the bag and you try to make it look like you are, that, you know, it is almost the same. So let's try to find very quickly a Birkin dupe. Yeah, let's immediately on Amazon.com. Oh, did we disconnect? Cool. I love that. I love when we disconnect and you just get to see random old photos of me. Okay. So I just searched Birkin. I didn't even search like Birkin dupe or anything on Amazon.com. And we immediately get this bag, which looks just like a Birkin bag. This bag, which looks similar to a Birkin bag. This bag, which is a mini keychain that looks like one of the Birkin bags. And, you know, you have to sort through it, which kind of gives you the feeling. I like this one is a clear one, but it looks like a Birkin bag, which is probably for bringing to your Taylor Swift concerts. Swifties probably don't care. They're like probably don't care about the Birkin status symbols. Maybe some of them do, but I feel like those might not overlap in the same way. Yeah, look at this one. This is an Hermes scarf, but it's produced by xtree.com. So this would be in the category of like pretty close to a fake. It's pretty much reproducing a actual Hermes scarf. I don't have the scarf in front of myself because I am not trying to play the Hermes game, so I don't actually know their catalog because I don't care. But this is a fake, and it'll probably get pulled eventually after they complain. But in many ways, the like proliferation of fakes makes it even make more sense where they're like, oh, we're so desirable that there's like rampant fakes. Now, dupes are when they aren't printing the name. So this would be something that you would describe as a dupe. It has the same shape. It looks very similar, but it isn't. And this would be for someone that you're not trying to pull off the idea that you have a Birkin bag, but you like the shape of it. You want the handbag, but you're certainly not going to drop 40G on it. So you're like, sure, there we go. There we go. For $50, I get a little version of this. And maybe you get one that's genuine leather. Maybe you get one that isn't genuine leather, right? And that would be what is considered, what's considered a dupe. What happened was there were two interesting things that happened with Walmart and Birkins. The first was that because third-party sellers exist on there were third-party authenticated Birkins on Walmart.com. And on Walmart.com, you could buy Birkin bags for like $20,000. Look at this. Can you imagine going on Walmart.com and spending $40,000 on a used handbag? I mean, I understand it's pre-owned, not used when it comes to something rich because rich people have to rebrand stuff. But at the same time, there was also Hermes bags that were fakes. And they were more like dupes in that they weren't trying to claim that they were Birkin bags. But what kind of took off was that someone who was in the handbag like world, the handbag fan world, made a TikTok where she was like at a Walmart store and found the dupe Birkin, and it's genuine leather apparently, and it looked amazing, and it was like originally like $60 or something like that. Yes. So this was like $60. And it was in the aisles of a Walmart. But there are a lot of people who ended up racing to buy these off Walmart.com. And it completely sold out. There was a lot of people who were celebrating this. And they were celebrating this because of all of the insanity of the way that you get Birkins and the level of status symbol that these Birkins are, and the like bizarre way where they can make you buy stuff that you don't even want to buy in order to earn the ability to drop 30G on a bag. It was like, it's just such a it's such a great example of deadening the brand, because the association of Walmart with lower class and down market, and then having a bag that is actually looks this good and actually looks this close to a Birkin. There are some people that have real Birkins and then got the Walmart Birkin because they're like deep in the handbag world, and they got on it very early, that have compared them, and in many ways the quality is quite high. However, there were a ton of other sellers, third-party sellers, that were jumping on that trend. So then there was a lot of people who were getting ones that weren't quite as well made. But for $80, it would be just as good. I thought H was for Hogwarts. No, it's not for Hogwarts. So the bag is off the website. It was a great question though. Does any know the Walmart part number to search for in the? So as far as I can tell, they're all off Walmart now, unfortunately. So if you were coming here for actual useful information, I am sorry. that the Walmart Birkin, aka the Workin, we are not here to give you that. It keeps selling out, and it's probably going to be pulled. I will also say it was originally listed at like 60 and then started climbing to like 300 because it's a third party seller, so they're able to just like change the price willy-nilly. I mean, anybody can, but oh, Jackie is a former French major, Hermes. I think I'm saying it right then. Maybe I'm saying it with an extremely American accent. Mine is too much There's too much R in it. But I don't care about the luxury company's feelings either. Same. So what does this say? Well, one, brand illusion, kind of amazing, right? Like, what gives the Birkin is not such a high quality luxury handbag to justify the price. The price is all about the fake scarcity. And they've already had such a big problem with the with counterfeits and everything, because that's the double-edged sword that you get when you introduce fake scarcity in your brand. And so there's definitely an appeal to the idea of saying, like, actually, I could get this almost the same quality, maybe slightly lower quality at Walmart.com. It chips away at the quote unquote investment value of people that have been buying these because it's brand illusion. And so I think there's a lot to be said for that, but why did we not see this level of like brand illusion or fervor before? It's the juxtaposition of the Walmart, which is very much seen. I mean, that's why it's hilarious to call it a workin instead of a Birkin, because it's very much seen as working class. It's seen not like Walmart is not seen as a city brand. It's very much seen as a suburban, exurban, rural brand. For a lot of places, Walmart is the only like store for 50 plus miles in the American West and sometimes in the South. And Walmart just has a very different brand identity than everything that the Birkin brand identity, which is, East Coast, cosmopolitan, big city, rich, not working class country, and definitely not grocery store. That juxtaposition of the brand chips it away in a way where it doesn't if people are searching on DHgate, which is a common place to get counterfeit goods. It doesn't the same as if people are getting fakes on Canal Street, right? And I also think that there is some pride in people that would never consider getting a Birkin, but who are tempted by getting this Walmart Birkin. One, because some of them see it as a point of pride. The idea of kind of taking something that rich people were holding as exclusivity, as something only for them, and saying, well, I've got my own, but it's actually the one that's the salt of the earth one, right? It's like working class solidarity while also having the envy for the things that rich people have. You love the idea that it's not exclusive, but in some ways it's more exclusive because no rich person would have it. It identifies you as down to earth while also being aspirational in quality. There's a lot of like complex layers in it, right? And I think that that's one of the reasons I'm saying brand dilution, meaning they are diluting the brand. Literally, like if the brand was this beautiful blue Kool-Aid of a color, and you pour in the clear water that is the Walmart Birkin, it dilutes the brand, right? It makes the strength of the exclusivity of the brand less if you can just go out to the corner store and get it. You think about it, you see it all the time with design things, right? Where things hit on runways and they're $20,000 trends, and then they are reproduced by fast fashion brands, and suddenly they are $10 trends. Well, if they were allowed to reproduce the brand label of that brand, or something that is as iconically associated with the brand as the Birkin bag is associated with Hermes, it dilutes the cachet of the brand. Yes, I would also say that it also gives the rich people an option if they keep losing their money to keep up his appearances. I agree. I mean, I think the Birkin bag does that. I think that is one of those things where a lot of times rich people don't want to get rid of those handbags because it allows them to keep up appearances in a certain way, even if they do lose their money. Okay. Y'all, I have a meeting in 15 minutes. We have 2 donuts, a notebook. We gotta go. We gotta do this. Any more comments about the workin down below? I'm sorry, I don't know where to get it from. We've got 2 donuts. We gotta go fast. We gotta go fast, y'all. Okay. This is Talking Dough and Eating Donuts, where we talk about economics and eat a donut. Okay, and this is today's donut. We have 2, actually. This is the first one. It is a lemon curd donut, and we are starting a new donut log today because we really got to move that. There we go. Okay, we were starting a new donut log because we filled up the last one, so we're on our 3rd donut log now, and it is a lemon curd oat. So it's got fresh lemon curd in the middle, a lemon glaze, and then oat crumble. I don't know. It looks amazing. It kind of looks like an egg to me. I don't really like this is just a regular donut, but I feel like it's a little bready. I actually feel like maybe that was just this one today. You can tell that it's filled because the bottom where the lemon curd is like totally bready there. Yeah, I agree. It does look like a fried egg. It's vegan though. That was the first time I got the bite of the oat crumble. It really is like crunchy on the top there. The lemon curd is awesome. The donut is too bready, which isn't typical for dough. So I think this just might not be the best donut. Like it's not fluffy enough. It's a little too bready. You can kind of see like when you poke into it. Okay. We have a second donut. So, and I have no one here to take a donut tax. 3.5 out of 4. The lemon curd is amazing, but I'd rather it just be the lemon curd. And I do think the oat crumble gave it a good contrast. You should eat your muffin in solidarity, David. Okay. We're going to fill in 3.5. There we go. Fresh one. Oh, yeah. We should also mark on the front. This was completed on 24 December 24. And this one was started on 07 January 25. Now, we got to eat the second one here. We got to whip through these, y'all. This one is, I do have a picture of it already. I did print the picture already, but I haven't put it in there. I have 2 pictures of the fried egg donut. I don't know. I think I'm just going to randomly include it in a package with no explanation because the cat just stole, she stole without me noticing out of the printer, me printing one of these pictures. And then I printed another one, and then I found the other one on the floor. She likes to pick them out with her mouth and then run off with them. Okay. This one is... Okay. I mean, look at this pretty donut. So this one is a blueberry fritter. It's got fresh blueberries inside with a fresh blueberry glaze. Look at how honking this is. It's like the size of my head. And it's like extra fried. I think it's going to be good. And then that's like a huge chunk of blueberry. I think I'm going to start like here so I get some of the blueberry in there. Because that's like, I don't want to eat too much of it at once. Okay. Wow. It is both extremely fried on the outside and very blueberry in the middle. I feel like maybe their dough was off. I heard that they had a burglary and a break-in, so I wonder if they're just a little off their mixing game. I hope they didn't get their mixer stolen. Eric says, I love this donut. Blueberry and the scale of it. I actually matched the donut today. It's like very coordinated. I don't know what someone made off of. Apparently a bunch of vegan businesses have been getting burglarized and vandalized in the same part of town in the last like couple days. Anyway, very supportive. Of buying more donuts to support them. I don't have a muffin log, but I think you should make a muffin log. Eric, no tax Tuesday on Oh My Dollar. Yeah, it's like the tax holiday that Trump did during COVID. You remember the tax holiday? I did live streams on it. It wasn't a very good system. I'm getting a reminder about my meeting that starts in 10 minutes, so we better wrap this up. Do you all want to see the very pretty notebook that I got? There's nothing in it yet, so it should be fairly fast. We have to fill in this donut log, though, first. What am I rating this? I think it's a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's a 5 out of 5, and that's just because, once again, I think the dough's a little off. This time, it's not bad, but it's just not their normal quality of donut dough. Okay, so I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I'm rating it first. I love that. And the notes are fresh blueberries. And fresh blueberry glaze. And the dough is raised. I don't know if we need to say a filling because we said that it's in there already. The price was $4 and the baker was dough. And I sampled it on 07 Jan 25. And it is called Blueberry Flitter. I kind of want to talk to them about designing a better version of this because this is a local company, the one that makes these 33 donuts log. I could make an Oh My Dollar specific one, or I could do like a collab with them. I actually got a hot sauce log for Aaron But I feel like I should do a branded collab with them because I have feedback. I think they should have like the type of donut that it is, like fritter and everything in here. I realize that they probably didn't intend for people to use them as feverishly as I use them. But considering that it's like a local business, I think it could be kind of fun to work with him. I know it's a him because I think it's just one guy. Because when I wanted to get the hot sauce log, I was looking for it at my local stationery store, which sells these, and they didn't have the hot sauce one, and he was like, "Oh, I'll just text him," and he texted him, and then within a day, he was like, "Oh, he's just down in Milwaukee. He'll just drop one off for me," which was nice because I got to support a local store and my local stationery, and a local company. But I think it'd be fun to do a little collab with them. I don't know if I'm the only one that has very specific donut log needs, though. But I was also thinking that this would be a really cute thing to sell at Dough, because Dough has all these like wild flavors. I thought, oh my gosh, like it would be really cool to have like a little one. I have too many ideas, though. I should stop trying to make new things. Well, Aaron just got it for his birthday, so he hasn't used it yet. But we have a hot sauce in Portland. There is a hot sauce bottle shop. So they're like a little place where you can sample hot sauces and beer. But all of these like boutique hot sauces that they carry, you can sample in there. No, I did not hear they were stealing butter over $5,000 worth of butter. That's wild. I do remember the maple syrup heist, which was even a bigger price tag. All right, we've done it. We filled those in. Do you all want to see the notebook? Yay or nay? Do you want to see the notebook with only 5 minutes? Or should we just chat and before I head to my next meeting? Okay, Winter says the notebook. I'm very excited about this notebook. I didn't realize it was going to be as beautiful as it is. And a lot of notebook people are not going to be surprised by this because the bullet journal community loves this brand. I wish Latitude was here because they are like a big fan of this brand. So I got it from Archer and Olive, and I didn't realize it was going to come in like its own little like storage thing. Oh my God, it's also hard to get out. So it comes in its storage thing, like box that you can put on the shelf. But here it is. It's a square notebook. So look how gorgeous this is. It's, I'd wanted this particular notebook for a while, but then they released it in pink and this brand often sells out. And I was like, do I need to get it? And then I was like, you know what? You're going to get this. At some point, it'll be the right notebook to use. Because I like to, at any time, know that I have a reason to have a notebook. But what I've decided to do is, like, has anybody read Barbara Shear's book called Wishcraft? It's like a classic kind of creative career book. It is, when was it originally published? It was originally published in 1979. I totally recommend it. So in it, she talks about like different personalities. And one of the personalities is, and like career fulfillment. I still recommend Wishcraft to this day. It sounds like it's like a spell book, but it's actually a career book. And in Wishcraft, she mentions scanners, which are people that are really good at doing a deep dive into something and then either training or educating other people on it or building something and then selling it off. And she calls this like kind of personality type scanners, journalists, librarians, certain kinds of educators. They all like scanners make really good in those professions because essentially they can learn a lot about a subject and then kind of fulfill their need with it, which might be mastery, it might be being able to teach someone, any of those things, and then kind of move on. And one of the things about scanners was that so many people wrote in and like, oh, I finally understand it. Like, I finally understand like why I'll get super intense about learning something, a new language, dance, martial arts, a particular style of cooking, and I'll get really good at it, and then I'll get bored the second that I've hit a certain level of skill on it. And I don't understand how to turn this into a job. And a lot of people wrote her in, so she wrote a second book about scanners, and it was called Are You a Scanner? But the eventual title, when they rebranded it, was called Refuse to Choose. And it was about how to have careers and projects as a scanner. I essentially opted into that, which is that I am a financial and economics journalist, and I get to do deep dives into topics and learn a lot about them, and then produce something about it, and then move on to the next thing. Because everything's related to economics, and that is one of the great parts about being a journalist that I love so much. All this to say, one of the things that she recommends in Refuse to Choose, which I recommend if you recognize yourself in a scanner, is having a book where that's like a notebook that's like incredibly elevated. And anytime you have like an idea, because one of the things that's common for scanners is you have really detailed ideas where you can like see through all the way to the completion of a business or a life plan or whatever, and then you're kind of done. Like sometimes you'll have this idea and you see it through to completion, like in your head, and you don't even need to do it. And she recommended having a book where you write all that you call your scanner notebook. And it's meant to be like your Leonardo da Vinci notebook, where you put all of your different things in it. And every time you have an idea for an invention or a new project or a new business or whatever, you write it out as though you are writing instructions for someone that happens upon this notebook and isn't you. And the idea is that it's supposed to be a really beautiful notebook to like elevate your ideas. And this notebook, I've been thinking about, I originally read Wishcraft, 22 years ago, maybe. And I read Refuse to Choose, I think around the same time. And I on and off have had some of these notebooks, but I've never had one this beautiful. And I think that's what I'm going to use this for. Mini, yes. Well, I would also say that it's a bit of a survival, but I would also say that you are absolutely an expert on ODSP. What type of paper does it have? I believe it's 120 GSM, and it's white, and then it's dot grade. It's got two little notebook, bookmarks. It does not have numbered pages, though, which I know a lot of people in the bullet journal community, which Archer and Olive has an absolute chokehold on the bullet journal community. A lot of people are cranky about the fact that it doesn't have numbered pages. I don't think it's going to be a huge problem for me. I'm sure as heck not going to go through and number all the pages. Some people do that. But like, look at this binding. And then look, it's got this. It's gorgeous. Okay. It's right. AS says runs to ADHD. I love that everybody thinks it's pretty. And I was trying to describe, is it 160 GSM? It might be 160 GSM. It's gorgeous. It's great. I'm afraid to write in it. I just got it like 2 hours before this live stream, and I'm too afraid to write in it. I might have to do an edited video where I like set it up because I'm like so intimidated by it. I don't think I can do it live. Okay, I do have to go to my union meeting. I hope everybody has a great week. It is lovely to have you here. It's lovely to spend some time with you all. Thank you all. The chat was very lively today. I hope you got your Walmart Birkin ideas exercised. I am sorry we don't have long enough time to say what you are looking forward to this week. I did a bad job of planning my day. To be fair, I was trapped under a cat for at least half an hour. So blame Kugel. So I hope you all have a great week. If it's your first week back at work or school in the new year, I hope you really have a wonderful first week of work week of 2025. And if not, or if you are, stay safe, stay hydrated, pet a cat if you have one available. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye. Well, maybe I won't end. There we go. Bye.